Good afternoon, everybody. It's Faker. Well, another week over, it's another opportunity to read some cards. In this series, we expand our horizons and read a bunch of cards that nobody has ever heard of before. This week, by popular demand in our poll, we have Icejade, an archetype that I've been told is super lore significant, but man, if I don't know what any of these cards do. If you want to voice your opinion on the next archetype we cover, subscribe and vote in our poll, which goes up every Sunday. Now, onto the video. Alright, now, in full transparency, the most that I know about this deck is that the Synchro was theorized to be decent in Sword Soul. I know that because I played Sword Soul at the time that it was released, but as far as I know, it never saw any play because Barone was nuts. I have a summary here that says, the Icejades are a group of water aqua monsters introduced in Burst of Destiny. That is the second wave of Sword Soul, if I remember correctly. We just did a video on that. Thematically, they revolve around a crystalline, icy aesthetic, with their name playing on the dual meaning of ice water and jade in Japanese. Wow, fantastic stuff, Wikipedia. What a real investigative deep diving. The Icejades are based on ice and jade. Crazy. The monsters are depicted as feminine humanoids crafted from a water-like crystalline substance, evoking a serene yet mystical vibe. Okay, well, I'm beginning to get why some of you guys were so insistent on voting this one so highly. Just a promise not to be weird in the comments, please. Deal? The archetype's playstyle emphasizes a defensive and control-oriented strategy, focusing on stalling opponents and manipulating the battlefield to maintain board presence. They synergize well with other water-based decks and have ties to the broader lore involving the Sword Soul archetype. Got it. Okay, well, this is coming together. We had the Sword Soul video this week, Icejade review today, 2 control strategies back-to-back. While I'm dreading the day that you guys make me review a combo archetype, let's get into the cards. Okay, so it looks as though we have a 14-card archetype with 8 main deck monsters, 4 spells, 1 trap, and then 1 extra deck monster. So this time around, instead of going from left to right on YGO Pro deck, I'm going to go from lowest level to highest level. I think that that's going to let us get our more important monsters out of the way. You guys are going to have to forgive me if my voice breaks up a little bit. I have been recording basically non-stop. We are going to begin with the level 3 Icejade. Holy cow. This is why you guys wanted me to do this archetype, right? I am not going to be able to pronounce any of this. I'm going to say Icejade Aarin. It is a level 3 water aqua with 1,000 attack and 2,000 defense, and the effect to, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Icejade spell trap from your deck to your hand. Typical, very good. A lot of modern archetypes have a card like this, and it's awesome. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets this card or targets this card for attack, quick effect, you can activate this effect. The next time this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, it is not destroyed. Also, special summon 1 water monster from your hand or grave except itself, but return it to the hand during the end phase. And then obviously it's a once per turn. Yeah, I mean, this card's really good. Searching 1 Icejade spell or trap, I saw that there were a lot of those, so that gives you a lot of flexibility with like adding whatever it is that you're missing. I think these kind of cards are super common, and it's good that the archetype has one. The destruction protection effect is a little bit like Maiden with Eyes of Blue. It kind of reminds me of that, except instead of special summoning a Blue Eyes, it's a water monster from hand or grave. Returning it to the hand during the end phase is not a big deal because you can go from grave and then back to hand, and so you get like advantage off of that. And I'm sure that some of the monsters have effects on special summon that are really powerful. So that's really good. The only thing I can imagine is that I doubt that your opponent is going to be baited into using this. So I wonder if the deck is going to have a way to like force your opponent to do something about it. Also, the art is a little water girl with pigtails and a dress. So we begin as we mean to go on. Alright, moving on, we have 2 level 4s. We will begin with Icejade Tanola. That's a little bit of an easier name. This is a level 4 water aqua with 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense. Not a lot of high attack values yet. And the effect too. You can send 1 card from your hand to the grave, target a water monster in your grave, send this card from your field to the grave, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster. Little convoluted, but I see what it's getting at. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your grave, you can banish this card, special summon an Icejade monster from your hand or grave, except for itself. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay, so that's a little complicated, but let me see if I get this right. It's on the field. You send a card from your hand to the grave, target a water monster in your grave, send it from the field to the grave to special summon it. Yeah, that's a little bit of a complicated way to get like a monster reborn, but it's still pretty good. I really like the second effect to plus off of destruction. So if another water monster you control is destroyed, you kind of get advantage off of it in grave to special summon another Icejade monster. That's really, really cool, but I think that the first effect is a little convoluted. It reminds me of the Lightsworn monster. Is it Luminia? The one that discards to special summon, except it also has to send itself, which I guess it wants to be for its second effect, but that's a little convoluted. Okay, so that's the first of the level 4s. Moving on to Icejade Acti. This is a level 4 water aqua with 1,000 and 1,000, exact same stat line. And the effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one water monster from your hand to the grave, draw one card. Okay, it's like the Ice Barrier Samurai again. A lot of parallels to the Ice Barriers in these decks lately. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one water monster from your hand to the grave, draw a card. Awesome. It goes card neutral, puts a card in grave, which a lot of these Ice Barrier cards have wanted to be in grave or interact with the grave, so that's pretty good. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your grave, you can banish this card, special summon an Icejade monster from your hand or grave except for itself. Okay, that's a very similar effect. Yeah. So the second effect is the same as Tanola, but the first effect is a little different. Happening on normal or special summon is good because this deck has a lot of special summoning, and I'm sure it's going to be in grave at some point. Sending a water monster from hand to grave is awesome, especially since it recoups you with another card. I think that both of these level 4s are good. I think that you play both of them. I feel like Acti is maybe a little bit worse, but you still want to like have enough in grave in order to like get its special summon effect. I think that's really good. Moving on, we have a level 5 Icejade Tanola. She is a level 5 water aqua, 1,500 and 1,500. Wow, this deck just has really low stat lines, doesn't it? With the effect, you can send this card from your hand to the grave, special summon one water monster from your hand. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in your grave, banish this card, special summon one Icejade monster from your hand or grave. Okay, I'm beginning to wonder if they all have that effect, because I don't believe Aarin had that effect. No, so Aarin didn't have the effect to banish itself to special summon another Icejade monster. But this is a super recursive loop. A lot of these higher level monsters are having this, and I'm starting to see how this plays in. It's kind of hard to get rid of these guys. Basically, you can discard this card in order to special summon another water monster from your hand. And there are still a couple higher level monsters that I haven't seen. Also, this plays nicely with like the Elemental Lord water monster and maybe like mermails, because they can be pretty high level too. There are a lot of high level water monsters that I feel like this plays nicely with. I like the secondary effect on all these cards. It's really good. I think it lets you cheat out some of the higher level water monsters. I don't like the stat line. The stat lines aren't great, but none of this stuff that I've seen so far locks you into Icejades, so I'm sure that it plays nicely with a lot of generic water stuff. Up next, we have 2 level 7s. You guys are killing me. There is no way I'm pronouncing these. The first level 7 we're going to cover is Icejade Aarin. Okay, that's my guess. Level 7 Water Aqua Tuner. It's a level 7 tuner. That's crazy. Level 7 tuner is nuts. 1,500 attack, 2,500 defense. This deck is unable to run over Vorse Raider. I think I found the one major weakness if you're trying to stop Icejades. Just play Gene Warped Warwolf in attack position. The deck can't get over it. This card's name becomes Icejade C-Note Enion Cradle. Of course, why would it not become Icejade C-Note Enion Cradle? When equipped with an equip card, that makes sense. That's what I've seen about the deck so far, is that they want to equip spells and change names into the immortal Icejade C-Note Enion Cradle. You can discard one other Icejade card or water monster, special summon this card from your hand. Cool, so it special summons itself. It doesn't even need the level 5 that we just talked about. Then you can special summon one Icejade token, level 3, okay, that's fine. While that token is in the monster zone, the player who summoned it cannot special summon from the extra deck except water monsters. You can only use the effect of Icejade Aarin once per turn. So basically, you discard a water monster or an Icejade card, special summon this, then you get a token. That makes a level 10 synchro, but it has to be a water synchro. So that's like what? White Aura Behemoth? I used to play that card in Link Evolution all the time. Okay, well, I'm assuming that the synchro is a level 10 because people said that it was going to be played in Sword Soul. That would make sense. So this guy, you pitch a card, special summon it, you make a token, you make the level 10. We'll see if it's worth it when I get to the level 10. Other than that, I mean, it looks fine. You put a water monster in grave. All these water monsters want to be in grave. Super good. I'm going to say that this card is a win. I'm trying to make sense of the art because there's a lot going on in it. It is just, okay, it's a pretty water lady sitting on Lord only knows what that's supposed to be. I cannot make heads or tails of this art. I'm being 100% honest with you. All right, well, Jesus, I am not pronouncing this. All right, well, we are moving on to Icejade Creation A. That's what I'm going to call it. This guy is a level 7 Water Aqua tuner, another level 7 tuner, sick. 2000 attack, 2000 defense. Holy cow, we have found a monster that can crash into Gene Warped Warwolf. Finally, while this card is equipped to a monster, why are we equipping this thing to monsters? This is the highest attack value that we've seen on a monster, and it wants to be equipped to another monster? How are we even doing that? The equipped monster gains 400 attack and defense for each banished monster. Okay, so it doesn't even work off stuff like Desires or Extract, so it's not like turn it into a Grenmaju, right? You can only use one of the following effects of Icejade Creation A once per turn, and only once that turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, please say that it can equip it. Except during the damage step, quick effect, you can target one Icejade monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can special summon this card. Oh, that's cool as shit. Oh, I was talking mad shit. This card is super cool. Okay, so you put this card in grave off of any of the cards that discard, and then you can equip it to any Icejade monster and then special summon it from equipped. And because it is a tuner, you can do like all sorts of cool synchro summoning shenanigans, and it doesn't even lock you like the other guy locks you. This card is super cool. This is really, really good. It's like the Dragunity Curse, right? It's like an equipped spell that special summons itself and lets you synchro. This card is awesome. This is, I talked mad shit about this card already, but I really like this. This might be the best card that we've seen so far. All right, moving on. We have a level 9 Icejade Creation Kingfisher. I believe this was on the art of one of the earlier cards that we looked at, right? Am I crazy? No, I believe that Ran Aarin is like sitting next to this thing. I can barely see it in the card artwork. Level 9, Water Aqua, not a tuner. Okay, so the high level monsters are not all tuners. 2500 attack, 2500 defense. We're getting up there. We're getting up there in stat value. You can target one water monster you control, equip this card. Okay, there's a lot of equipping going on. Equip this card from your hand or field to it. An Icejade monster equipped with this card can attack while in defense position. Oh, yeah. If it does, apply its defense for damage calculation. Oh, okay. That kind of justifies a little bit of the lower attack values, higher defense values we've been seeing. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target one monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the equipped monster's defense. Special summon this card, and if you do, return the targeted monster to the hand. And then obviously you can only use this effect once per turn. This is really cool. So you can equip it and then like compulse an opponent's monster, because all these guys have pretty beefy attacks. So theoretically, if your opponent has something that's lower, you can bounce it up, and it kind of turns all your monsters into super heavy samurais. I'm gonna make an educated guess here, and I'm gonna say that this card is not good. It doesn't extend, it doesn't really special summon going first. Obviously it can special summon itself going second if your opponent has a board that you can actually bounce, but other than that, my assumption about Creation Kingfisher is that it's just not very good. Moving on, we have one main deck monster left. Let's go. Icejade Cosmicore, right? Cosmicore? I believe that's what it is. This is a level 10 Water Aqua with 1500 attack and 3000 defense. However, now I know that can be an attack value. I'm assuming some of the spell cards do something with that too, but we're going to find out. 1500 attack, 3000 defense. If a face-up card is in a field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. I'm going to pray that they have a field spell, because relying on your opponent to have a field spell is ridiculous. You can only special summon this card in this way once per turn. While Icejade Aarin Cradle is on the field, monsters your opponent controls can only activate their effect the turn that they are summoned. If your Icejade monster battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster loses 1000 attack during that damage calculation only. This is really interesting. I feel like this enables a lot. So it lets you special summon itself if you have a field spell. We're going to assume that this deck has a field spell. So you just special summon this card from your hand while the Icejade Aarin Cradle is on the field. We've only seen one card that allows it to change its name to that, right? Let me see. Let me double check. Yeah, so Icejade Ran Aarin is the only card we've seen that actually changes its name to that Aarin Cradle. So you basically are in need of that. These spells are going to have to go crazy, crazy hard. As for the actual floodgating effect, monsters your opponent controls can only activate their effects the turn that they are summoned. That feels super weak, because that should just be like enough, right? I mean, if they summon a monster that can remove you, let's say they summon a Nightmare Unicorn, it doesn't matter that they can only activate it the turn they summoned it, they summoned it and it did its effect. The attack drop is kind of cool because these cards are kind of at a lower value anyway, so it's like mid. I don't know. It's a big body that you can special summon with a field spell, so I imagine it sees play, but it doesn't seem like the icing on the cake of the main deck monsters that I was kind of hoping for. Alright, so like in the last video, before we get to the spell traps, we are going to go over the extra deck monster, and there is only one in this instance. Icejade Aarin. This is a level 10 Aqua Synchro with 3000 attack, 1500 defense. Finally a monster with big, beefy attack values. We like to see it. Requires one water tuner and then one or more non-tuner monsters. Totally fine. Quick effect. You can activate this effect. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. That's pretty good protection. Then, if you activated this effect in response to your opponent's card or effect activation, and your opponent has a card with that name on their field and or grave, you can banish those cards. If a card is banished by your opponent's card effect while this card is in your grave, you can special summon this card. Okay, that's pretty cool. So basically, it allows you to protect yourself from destruction banishing, and then you get to banish in response to your opponent's cards, and it's got some special summoning if your opponent tries to banish while it's in the grave. That's pretty strong. It's got a good attack value, it's got good protection, and it's got some effective board clearing in response to your opponent's stuff. Not a lot going on here proactively, but the deck is a control deck, so I'm imagining that the spells and traps are going to kind of flesh this out. Quick recap on all the monsters, kind of my thoughts on the monsters before we go into the spells. A lot of special summoning, a lot of really cool like recursive special summoning from grave that allows you to keep them out there. There's not a lot of level restrictions on these, so the high level guys can be affected just like the low level guys. It sounds like the low level guys are really just here to facilitate a play, but there's no archetype lock on any of these monsters. All of these monsters, I imagine, play really nicely with like generic water support. So I imagine, leave a comment, you guys tell me below if I'm correct, but I imagine that you don't play these guys pure. There has to be another water archetype that they play nicely with. Okay, so for the spells and our lone trap, these I imagine have to be a pretty big deal. We've got the level 3 monster that searches them out. A lot of these cards turn themselves into equip spells. We have a monster that special summons itself with the field spell. I'm going to start with, oh my god, that's the name of the field spell. I am such an idiot. Icejade Cradle is the field spell. Oh my god. Okay, so the monster changes its name to being the field spell. Man, I thought, okay, well that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so it's a field spell. When this card is activated, you can add one of your Icejade monsters that's banished or in your grave to your hand. That's really good. Once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned except during the damage step, you can target one water monster you control. That monster, along with any face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, loses attack equal to the targeted monster's original attack until the end of the turn. Okay, so that kind of compensates for the defense and attack values. So if you special something in defense position with a higher defense, you can lower their attack by your attack, which you're not even using anyway. And then you can use the monster that's an equipped spell and attack over it. So theoretically, this deck has like a convoluted way of getting over things by battle, but I still think it's cool. The effect to add a Icejade monster that's banished or engraved to hand is really good because these things want to be engraved, they put themselves engraved, but if you add them to hand, you get to use them again. This is a cool field spell. It's not just like a generic field spell that adds the starter. I'll tell you what though, the thing about the name being Icejade Cradle, man, y'all must have been talking shit during the video when I was talking about the monsters. Holy cow. Okay, 2 videos in a row that maybe I should have started with the field spell first. I think we're going to learn that going forward. I think for future videos, we probably start with the spells and traps. Moving on, we have Icejade Manifestation. What is going on in this art? Icejade might be the busiest archetype I've ever seen art-wise. If you control a water monster and your opponent has a monster on their field or graveyard, take one Icejade monster from your deck and either send it to the grave or special summon it. Crazy. If a face-up Icejade monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card except by being destroyed and except during the damage step. So what, like banish? Spin? You can banish this card from your grave, then target one card your opponent controls, banish it. Wow, that's awesome. So this works even if your opponent going first, let's say they've like hand trapped you. Let's say you normal summon the level 3 and your opponent ashes the effect. You can then use this effect because they now have a monster in their grave and you control a water monster, special summon from deck, or you can send to grave. This card is crazy. This is a 3 of, right? I know it's a once per turn, but like this is a searchable 3 of that you can use to special summon from deck. This card is probably the best card in the archetype that I've read so far. Up next, we have Icejade Curse. This is a continuous spell. It says, while an Icejade monster and Icejade Cradle, hey, did you know that's the field spell? I knew that. Are on the field, your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters that were summoned that turn. Oh my god. Okay, so now it's all coming together. The level 10 makes it so that your opponent can only activate monster effects the turn they're summoned, and this spell makes it so they can't activate the effects the turn they're summoned. So altogether, it's like a more convoluted convoluted skill drain, which is cool because skill drain sucks, but if you make skill drain a little bit more convoluted, it becomes cool again. When a monster is destroyed by battle involving your Icejade monster, you can target one of those destroyed monsters, inflict damage to your opponent, okay, equal to its original attack. Yeah, it's a little burn. I don't think anyone cares. Really, you're playing this because it's kind of like skill drain when paired with the other cards. Okay, I'm fine with that. This card is fine. I think you play it for sure. I don't know if you played it more than one because it is searchable, but it does turn your monsters into a skill drain, which is good. And it is a control strategy, so that is totally fine. We have one spell left. Icejade Cradle. This is a normal spell that says add one Icejade monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, with a different name than the cards you control are in your grave. Okay, there we go. Wow, this deck is super consistent, right? Because you can go Cradle and then you Aarin, and then you can go Aarin, add any other spell trap. So you can like add the Icejade manifestation or basically anything else you want. So it's super, super consistent. Yeah, I mean, this is just like Medallion of the Ice Barrier, but a little bit worse. Crazy good. Holy cow, these spells are awesome. No equip spells, by the way. 0 equip spells. The only equip spell in the entire deck is Kingfisher and Icejade Creation A. Those are the only cards that equip themselves to anything. That is nuts. Holy cow. I gotta admit, man, not a very consistent design philosophy on this deck. Like, it's super cool, and there's a lot of really interesting effects that I haven't seen in like any other kind of Yu-Gi-Oh deck going together, but not very cohesive. Okay, the last card in the deck, Icejade Erosion. This is searchable off of the level 3. You can target one face-up card your opponent controls, destroy one Icejade monster you control, and if you do, negate the targeted card's effects until the end of this turn. So it's like searchable imperm. Really good. If a face-up water monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card, except by being destroyed and except during the damage step, you can add to your hand or special summon an Icejade monster from your deck. Oh, it's a continuous trap. Okay, it's a continuous trap. Wow, both of these effects are crazy. It's imperm that requires you to pop an Icejade monster you control, but like, who cares? There's so much recursion. I think there's a lot that plays into this, because so many of the Icejade monsters say, if a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while it's in grave, not just your opponent's card effect. So if you used Icejade Erosion, popped a card, you could use the graveyard effects in order to special summon a monster back. So you're not really losing anything. However, Aarin does say when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets this card, so you can't use it on Erosion. Man, I just feel like all of the spells and traps in this deck are just absolute powerhouses. You've got searching, special summoning from deck, you've got like kind of a skill drain, and the field spell is super conducive to the deck's playstyle. Wow, this is one of the most interesting archetypes I have ever looked at in this series. I gotta be honest with you guys, 2 things. I don't think it's very good. I don't know, maybe I'm not seeing the grander picture here, but unless it facilitates like a lot of out of archetype extra deck plays, I'm not really sure what the end goal here is, because the lock doesn't seem that powerful. You can monster lock for sure, but it's only activated on field, which gives your opponent a lot of options because there are a lot of non-field activated monster effects that are really powerful. Not to mention you could just like destroy the back row. The lock doesn't seem that strong to me. The deck is like super consistent, and I feel like you can access basically any of these cards that you want to at any time, but I don't know. This deck is really, really interesting. I would love to find out more, see how this deck plays, see what they pair it with, but for my initial read through of these cards for the very first time, I'm going to say that the deck is super interesting, but unfortunately very mid. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for my voice. I've been doing a lot of recording lately and, it's kind of taken its toll, but I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure that you comment, like, subscribe, do all the stuff for the video. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Hope that you guys have a wonderful week. Make sure that you vote in the poll. It's going to be going up tomorrow for next week's episode of this series. And remember to wash behind your ears.